Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently 2.37% down to 45,503. Ethereum down 3.37% to 3402. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to combine the strengths of investing and trading, to help you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. Thank you for being a part of our globally extended family. I appreciate you being here. When I race through the market like this, I'm giving you a map of how prices have changed in the past 24 hours. I like to do this because you can actually look back at any episode and see how the market was actually changing. It's really, really valuable information. Our community is all about the smart money mindset and the institutional perspective. When smart money looks at a market like this, it says, about time. Why is that? Because they want BORSOG the Magnificent. BORSOG, buy on red, that's the boar, and the SOG is sell on green. We always buy on red. That is what professionals do. When people first enter the crypto market, they're not quite sure what to do or how it works. They tend to buy on green and sell on red and go all in or all out. Having an addiction to the news, indicators, and certainty is a recipe to lose money, unfortunately. And it's good to remember that these are the 4 stages that all investors and traders progress through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth. Zone 1, the panic zone. Zone 2, the blame zone. Zone 3 is where we focus on, and Zone 4. This is all about probability and rules. BORSOG, buying on red, selling on green, graduating our trades in and graduating them out. Instead of a light switch, it's a dimmer. We just go in levels, we come out at levels as well. It's also about just getting a handful of selected opportunities so you can concentrate your firepower, understanding 3-way decision making, knowing and working with percentages and turning those percentages to your advantage. As crypto technical analysts, we maintain a positive excellence life trend, one of integrity, decency, kindness, inner and outer peace. We're all about earning and keeping. All investors and traders need to fight against 2 big enemies, self-sabotage and self-doubt. How we do this is we actually understand that when we know the rules, we will actually be successful. The problem in life is very few people actually tell us what the rules are, especially when it comes to money. It's always really important to know that life is always waiting for you to be ready for abundance. Please be very aware of scammers. Scammers always want you to go off to some dark website and pull you away from the mainstream. What I've done in each episode, in the description of the video, I have links, and you can always reach out and contact me directly. Direct message me on Twitter if you like. We're seeing an increase in scamming activity, and we have our own personal scammer on the YouTube channel as well. Wow, if only that person understood. Unearned is returned, and what is stolen is always punished. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. I think a really easy way to explain this, we're going to look at Bitcoin up here in the top left-hand corner. Ha! That's a good one. Let's have a look at Ethereum down below, XRP, Binance Coin, ADA, Sol, Luna, and AVAX. What I want to do is draw your attention to Bitcoin, this price movement up here. Now cast your eye to all the other charts. You notice that the price is going up and up and up with Bitcoin. This is really important to understand. Almost Not all the time, because every single alt is just a little bit different, but the majority of alts will peak when Bitcoin peaks. What about this sell-off in Bitcoin? Do you notice as you look across all of the charts, they're all selling down pretty much the same way? The reason that we love the alts is that they move up and down with greater percentages. Well, we love them when they move up with a greater percentage than Bitcoin. Not so crazy when they move down a greater percentage than Bitcoin. But this is what is attractive about alts. And what you can see is that the gravity of Bitcoin does indeed play off against the alts. And what I've done here is overlaid Bitcoin's fingerprint on the particular alt. So what you can see here with Ethereum, that is Bitcoin's price action in the blue. Notice how we're selling down in Bitcoin. What is happening to Ethereum? Of course, we're selling down. We're selling down in Bitcoin here. What's happening to Binance Coin? I can't believe it. It's selling down as well. What about here? XRP. Bitcoin is selling down. What is XRP doing? It's selling down as well. What about ADA? It's following it to a literal ping. What about Solana? It's also selling down. What about Luna? It's also selling down. What about AVAX? Oh, what a beautiful BORSOG level there. Let's look through some more alts. We can see Matic, Bitcoin selling down in that blue. Wow, look at Matic, BORSOGing it down. What about Atom, Cosmos, selling down? What about NIA? NIA is moving down with Bitcoin's gravity. This is what actually happens in the market. This gravity, very, very few people know about it, and I don't know why. I've been talking about it for quite a long period of time, but it's okay. I guess that's the way. Eagles don't flock. We can see Phantom moving down, and also Zilliqa also moving down. This is a little bit harder to see because it's had such exponential price action. But if we do this, we may be getting a better perspective. Just zooming in a little bit. That's a bit of a tip that you can use. Sometimes these alts will move in different directions, but generally gravity gets them either way. LRC, we can see it's just following Bitcoin's fingerprint. I guess we really need to know what Bitcoin is doing. Oh, look at Waves. Waves has come down nearly 54%. And that's why I was saying quite a few days ago when people were getting really interested in Waves, I was saying, please, maybe look elsewhere. Waves is going to take your money. And for example, if somebody was unlucky enough to put 10,000 at the top, they would have lost 5,387. And don't forget, before it looked like this. It looked fantastic. But we know as professionals, everything moves in a wave. All price moves in a wave. Rule 4 is critical for you to think about every time you take a trade or an investment. And we know that all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. Personally, I look at this on Phantom and I say, yeehaw, that is looking very juicy. Beautiful, go Phantom, because we want to make the percentages work for us. What does that actually mean? Professionals are not greedy either, and this is a really important thing to understand. They're not seeking to squeeze every last cent out of a particular price. They're not seeking to buy at the bottom, and they're not seeking to sell at the top. They're participating. When you see Phantom here, if we were to buy right now and it just came back up in a wave to around this price, let me just click on it, 153.92, that would be a 14% gain. And we can see all the time cryptos do this. Sharp angles reflect. We have so many rules. I don't suggest you do this right now, and there's a couple of reasons for it, but the concept is just know that you want the percentage to work for you. You don't want to get into a position where you've bought up here, for example, in waves, and now you've lost more than half of your money. It has to come back up 100% for you to actually break even. You need to buy at the right time. Rule 45 is an absolutely incredibly important rule, but I love Rule 4. Price moves in waves, because price moves in waves actually always reminds you that it's always up and down. So Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. I hope I've proven that to you. That means it's absolutely critical that we look at Bitcoin's price action. Oh, naughty Bitcoin. I put an A in there and look, Bitcoin came down and did it. Oh, it was up here before I shot this video. Okay, so now if I say, where is Bitcoin going to? Is it going to A? You say, Ken, it's already in A. Okay, that's all right. So what do we think over the next couple of days price will actually end up? Will it be A, B, C, D, or E? This is really, really important to understand because you already know that your beloved alts are moving with greater ferocity than is Bitcoin. So for example, as Bitcoin comes down a certain percentage, your alts may 3x, 4x, 5x, even 10x that percentage. That is why friends don't let friends leverage trade. We have a very specific methodology, a scientific methodology that we apply to the market. And there's a lot of things covered in this methodology that never see their way to the community channel. That's simply because every single lesson must be added to and understood before moving to the next lesson. That's simply not possible to do in YouTube. But I certainly share the important things. When it comes to marking up charts, there's a very specific methodology that we use, the CTKS method. We need to look at outside trends, and I'll come back to this in a moment and overlay it on Bitcoin's price. When we get into the market, we need to find the market's focus, understanding opportunities reset daily, and I've just been spending a lot of time enhancing your pattern recognition. To fight self-doubt and self-sabotage and become a professional, we must master emotional control. And this is really a way to look at the world that is not common. It's all about positive excellence and maintaining a positive excellence life trend. It's about earning it, because when you earn it, you keep it. And that applies in everything that we do in life, not just our finances. When then we look at the trigger section, most people just want to pull the trigger. They're not quite sure what they're pulling the trigger on or what it actually means, or they potentially say, oh, this is so green, I'm going to buy, just like waves. Professionals have a different mindset. They understand the rules of the market and they're very structured. They want to track investor attention, which is measured through price, which is reality, not future promises. Future promises don't mean too much in crypto. They're important, of course, but future promises are future promises. Reality is right now. We need to deal with the reality. Just say you're an investor in waves, you really love the project, you see all the fundamentals, you say this thing is going to the moon and beyond. Unfortunately, it just took more than half your money. What actually happens is, as an investor, you want to make a return. It's important to understand and reverse engineer success. At the end of the day, all investors sell, as there's no other way to make a return. And what you can see, this is almost like a price chart of waves in a way. Like a lot of people do, they hodl, hold on for dear life, hodl up to the peak, and they're buying up there. We're buying down here, just waiting for it to spike again. There's a very different way to look at crypto than the retail way that's shared on most YouTube channels. A beloved KS family member and a CTKS ambassador, the Meditative Mind, said, friends don't let friends trade crypto without the CTKS method. We have so many incredible people inside our community, and I just want to let everybody know that in the YouTube comments section, it was just such a fantastic discussion. I make sure I read all the comments, but it's a little bit hard to respond. So I generally just pin a comment at the top. Please let me know in the comment section on YouTube, where do you think it's going? Do you think it will go, and it's in A, so if you see A, yes, it's already there. But do you think it will, forget about A, let me move A down. There we go. Okay, now this makes it a little bit more intelligent. Do you think price is going to A, B, C, D, or E over the next couple of days? As professionals, we need to look ahead just a little bit more than just the now. Liquidations can give us a bit of an understanding where the market is going. We can see that 24-hour liquidations were 291.19 million, occurring over 95,137 traders. Over the past 24 hours, about 72% of liquidations were long liquidations, and we can see that the long liquidations have been growing. This is actually, when you think about it, when longs get liquidated, they get basically stopped out and they have to cover, so the price comes down. They're forced to sell. I just changed it to the last hour. In the last hour, 97% of longs got liquidated. Past 4 hours, 95%. Past 12 hours, 90%. Past 24, nearly 85%. What you can see is the longs and the shorts are always getting liquidated. Please keep away from leverage. Leverage won't make you a financial blessing. It will make somebody else a financial blessing, but that will not be you. Let's have a look at how Bitcoin's price action is going. We can see there was an uptick in optimism, fear, optimism, and the fear is just kind of going flatline at the moment. Just keep this in mind. When we look at aggregated open interest, we've seen that we got a rise up in aggregated open interest, but the fear is coming into the market, so we could expect a little bit of a downturn here, but that is at quite a support level. Just beware, there's a few things that could happen here. As professionals, we're unlike retail investors and traders in so many different ways. We make in advance probabilistic choices. We know what we're going to do if our beloved alts or whatever we're holding or looking at goes down, goes up, or goes sideways. And we know that opportunities reset daily, and we're seeking a specific return just on average every 7 days. And we see if the market can return that percentage to us, and we try to keep our eye on what's moving. Audio is up 34%, ZIL up 27%, Cello 25%, CBX nearly 24%, Mina 22%, Doge nearly 16%, and Solana 14%. And there's some interesting things that we can gather from this particular chart as well. When we look at the underperformers, this is waves, and we can tell it because we just double click on it and we can see it. The concept is waves was an absolute outperformer going back a week. Just going back, you can see this is waves. I'll double click on it again just so you can see it. So this is waves. Waves was outperforming just about everything, and then what happened? ZIL came up. It's like a horse race. And what happened? Waves and ZIL were both doing very, very well, but they started to come down. Now you can see Waves is the #1 underperformer this week. That means that you actually need to keep layering in and layering out. Just as BORSOG is a concept, the light switch is a concept, the 10-5-10 rule is a concept, the law of small percentages is also a concept. A lot of people, when they get into crypto, they want to make 1000x returns, 100x returns. They say, what's the next 20, 50x, 100x altcoin? That kind of thinking will get you wrecked. It'll get you destroyed because a lot of the alts, they're unsustainable, and some of them are just pure scams. They're designed to catch and capture new investors and traders. There is a better way, and if you understand this methodology, it's very, very different. If you can turn 10% per week, and we do that all the time in the community, if you can do this, but remember, it's a conceptual thing. You don't have to turn 10%. You can turn far more. And sometimes the market will not allow 10%. This is also the truth. We have to have a lot of rules and knowledge and patience on how to do this. But the concept is 10% per week is 11,639% per year. That means that you can grow a small amount of money into a very large amount of money if you know what you are doing. And you always earn it If you get this kind of return, it means you put in the hard work. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to put in the hard work. They expect that they can make returns, life-changing returns, without knowing what they're doing. I can tell you, as someone who's been involved with financial markets for more than 3 decades, that is pure fantasy, and it's sold only by scammers, and there's a lot of scammers out there selling that. It's just pure fantasy. Please do not believe it. The markets demand the tuition fee of losses. You can't avoid making losses in financial markets. It's all part of your learning process, but the key is to make the losses small as you're learning. You can scale up and scale down. This could be $1,000, or it could be $1 million, or it could be $10, or it could be $100. It's not important. As you get the skills right, you can scale appropriately. Again, this is another concept because investors really put themselves under so much strain, as do traders. You don't need to get 1000x. You can get a small percentage, and that can really add up to a lot of money over an extended period of time. When you think about combining strengths of investing and trading, it's just outstanding. That's what you want to do. But you need the knowledge and the rules. Trading and investing comes with its own rule book, and unfortunately very, very few people share the real rule book. One of those rules, and we see this with waves, Rule 5, you can always buy lower. What you will find is Rule 570 becomes increasingly as important as you progress. Psychology sets profitability. You have to have the right psychology to get the right profitability. A lazy psychology creates losses. If you're not prepared to put in the work, if you're not prepared to commit, you will not make money in the market. The market will take the money from you. That's the way markets work. Now, does that mean the market is somehow evil or bad? No, it wants you to learn. And that's the best way of looking at how people go from zone 1 to zone 2 to zone 3 to zone 4. They're always learning. Learning keeps you very young, and it keeps your mind active, and it gives you a better life. One thing the crypto technical analysts know is how markets interplay with each other. When we look at the stock market and the bond market, cryptocurrencies, crypto is a really, really tiny market. A lot of people inside crypto think that crypto is a market that can go its own way. It can disconnect from the stock market. The stock market can't even disconnect from the bond market. And if you look at the stock market, around 120 trillion, and the bond market 120 trillion as well, over, you can see that these can't disconnect from each other. What possible logic would there be for cryptocurrencies, which are around the 2 trillion mark, to disconnect? That as well is fantasy, but something very, very beautiful in the crypto market. Crypto represents the ownership layer of the next generation of the internet, Web 3.0. So if you think about Web 1.0 and 2.0, Web 1.0 was read. Web 2.0 was read and write, all the social media and all of those things, not just reading a web page. Web 3.0, read, write, and own. Ha! So cool, just like Unix. So what we see here is the adoption cycle of crypto has decades to run. We're literally starting our S-curve down here. It's just amazing. What does it mean? As more and more people get aware, more and more money will flow into the market. That's why crypto will explode over time, just like the internet. And if you look at the internet market capitalization of some companies, let's just take one internet company right now, Google. Google has a market capitalization right now of $1.89 trillion. That is one internet company. And Web 3.0, or the Internet of Value, will eclipse this easily. A lot of people don't understand how money flows around the economy, but most of the cash out there is actually digital anyway. This is almost 2 years old, but this is a representation, a visual representation of all the money in the world, and it's a lot more than a lot of people think. The thing that I want to draw your attention to is this particular thing, money supply. 2 years ago, 93% of money was digital, 7% was physical. Just let that sink in. 2 years ago. This is why all the central banks are pushing CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, because they need to. If there was a run on the banks, only 7 out of every 100 people would get their money back. That's why the government must go digital. It doesn't have an option. It has to embrace crypto. And to go digital, they actually have to align themselves with crypto. They want to control it. They don't want to kill it because they need a CBDC. Unfortunately, there are a lot of retail people that hold influential positions inside crypto, and they just say there are not enough stimulus checks to go into crypto to raise its market value. That's really short-sighted. Money doesn't work that way. Coming from a financial background, absolutely not. The majority of money is actually not people but institutions. And if we look at the derivatives market, we can see that has 2 years ago, it had a notional value of $1 quadrillion. There's so much money in the system, people have no idea, just like they have very little idea that so much money is actually digital already. And that was 2 years ago. We've had the majority of money printing in the last 2 years. Imagine what the percentage is now. The key is that many retail influencers, people who have not been involved with institutions, basically what they think is that only money that comes out of a person's pocket is the real thing. And they feel the emotional state they're feeling, one of panic when it goes red like this, is how the market should feel. That's why you get a headache watching many of the people on YouTube, because they really don't understand what's happening. With a smart money mindset, all of those rules actually go onto their heads. They're inversed. We love the red. Look at this red, this beautiful red. That's where we bought and that's where we sold. And we're not trying to time bottoms or tops. We're just layering in and layering out. What we hope as a community is that price comes down because it's going to go up. Now, why do I say that? Masterclass students, you get this live chart in TM6. What we've seen is the fear just absolutely plummet, just fall off a cliff. These particular movements are absolutely and utterly unsustainable. When we get something like this, it's like a spike up. It must be accompanied by a spike down at some stage. And this was a particularly long period for the VIX to come down without any blips up, because the VIX is very spiky. You can see that. What we actually see when fear comes down, prices go up. This is the NASDAQ 100, which is economic confidence. Now, finally, we've seen the VIX spike up. This is healthy. That's pushing prices down. This moves the percentage in your favor. Always remember, a red day is a good day. It's not a bad day. It's a great day. You want red. Green is, of course, very nice, but if you can handle the red, you can handle anything. When we look at economic concern in bond prices are going down. Yields in mathematically inversed relationship, they're coming up. So what do we see here? Also, inflation is coming down. There's an expectation that the markets are resetting, that they're getting their health back together. Yesterday, I said, do you notice one special thing in the charts? What that special thing is will probably end up coming down in the NASDAQ to around maybe 14,290, around that mark. And then I believe we'll consolidate and just shoot up. We've got to see what happens because it's all probabilities, but the probability is incredibly high. What this actually means is that as we get this retracement in Bitcoin, it will play out on all your beloved alts, and that represents potentially, probabilistically, a very good opportunity. And that's how I'm treating the market right now. The market could turn against us. It could keep on going down. But this is all about probabilities. Probabilities are not certainties. The only way you get certainty is to put your money with a bank and get 0.00001% per annum. Okay, just kidding. They may give us a little bit more, but it's not a lot more. And one thing that we can see as the DXY, the US dollar currency index, spikes up, gold is spiking down, but it's getting close to support, and gold is in a primary uptrend. Just always keep that in mind. When gold was spiking up like this, I was saying to people, please be careful. This is going to retrace back to support. Exactly what I said with oil, exactly what I said with waves, exactly what I've said on a lot of different occasions. What we want to do is to get in when things are just starting to turn around. That actually puts the percentages in your favor. When we look at Bitcoin compared to inflation expectations, we can see inflation expectations went on an exponential bender. They were just out of control, absolutely out of control. That's why we knew that Bitcoin was coming up, because there's a very strong correlation, directional correlation between these things. And also the Nasdaq has broken over a level of quite substantial resistance. We want it to come down because that is really, really healthy. If it keeps on going up and up and up like this, a lot of people want to see this kind of price behavior, but it's followed by 50% plus drops, and you saw that in waves. Crypto technical analysts keep their eye on so many data points because we're like detectives. We actually gather the data. We can see the federal balance sheet actually starting to come down now. What about the M1 and M2 money stock? They're actually going up, and the CPI is going up. Masterclass students, you'll get this in TM4. We can also see some really interesting things with the precious metals. Gold, silver went on a bender, and they've recovered. They're coming down to a point where they can say, okay, I've got my act together now, let's go and party again. The really interesting thing is copper is actually pushing forward. This is a really good sign. Copper is a sign of industrial intensity, and when copper goes up, that is an actual very, very good sign. That means the economy is improving. We can also see that platinum and palladium have been coming down. The major stock markets around the world also follow the major indices, and what we can see is those major indices around the world, including Russia, are on the way up. This is actually quite good news, because we're looking at Canada, the UK, Australia, Japan, France, China, Russia, and of course the US. And what this actually represents to me, when I look at this chart, I can see that we've actually crossed across resistance. This is really, really important. When you get a crossing of resistance, you expect upward price, but that doesn't mean you won't come down again. That's fine, because when you get over resistance levels, things start to party. This is looking really, really good. The markets are looking healthy, but a lot of influencers on YouTube, all with the screaming faces and open mouths, will try to tell you that the markets are crashing. I don't see the markets crashing. I see the markets as really, really healthy. But seriously, if you look at the news, if you read the news, you just hide under your bed. That's why professionals read the news through the charts. So why do we take all this time? Why aren't we looking at just one specific coin? Why isn't this video 3 minutes long? Because of Rule 225, Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. It's also about Rule 184, profit requires patience. A lot of people want an instant answer to everything. Just tell me the answer. You could think about it like this. When somebody goes to uni and they're studying, what is actually required are your workings. If you want to come up with an answer, you've got to have your logic of how you actually got there. This is all what we do as crypto technical analysts. If I could do a really bad comparison here, basically when people get into zone 1 and zone 2, they're like a surgeon who has a really serious operation to attend to, but they want to get it finished in 5 minutes, but they know it's going to take 10 hours. If they finish it in 5 minutes, I really would worry about that particular patient. Things take what they take, and all professions require a lot of patience. So I can tell you what I see from the market, and let me know if it's different from what you see as well. We have a beautiful community. We're always talking about things, and I'm so happy that so many people have come out and said hi. It's just so fantastic to see. When I look at this particular price action, I realize that there's a bit of weakness in the market, and that is to be expected. We've been looking for it, but I believe overall the markets are very strong, and a lot of people don't see it because they look with a retail mindset. If you actually follow the news and you do so religiously, you will be anxiety ridden because the news is not there for you, it's there for advertisers. So there's a lot of sensationalism behind the news. Of course, some news is really good and important to understand, but you can basically tell the news through the charts. A lot of people wait for the news because they want to see what could spike up and they want to jump in on top of it. Professionals simply don't do that. We know how to look for really good projects, and it does take time to do that from a technical perspective. And these news spikes, these things that spike up, I'm just using waves as an example. When you have a lot of positive news, they can collapse very quickly and leave you holding the bag, holding significant losses. That's why we don't really care too much. We look at the technicals and it will tell us what is going on. Of course, knowing the news is always important, but the concept is don't just use it as your compass. I would like to thank Al, who's a CryptoTradingKS Masterclass student, for his beautiful comment on YouTube. Together we're changing the world, one eagle at a time. Our community is all about eagles, and eagles don't flock. We're very happy to remain an eagle-based community. We don't need to grow into the millions, but I'm sure that we will one day. The key is that we're all about changing the world, bringing real wealth, bringing a change in mindset, bringing an understanding that kindness, integrity and decency, inner and outer peace, are far more valuable than money. Understanding how money actually works, the rules related to money, and knowing opportunities reset every day. And life is always waiting for you to be ready for abundance. All you have to do is to make the choice. And it's also balancing out this diamond hands hodl on for dear life perspective. You can actually make money in any market, up or down. It makes no difference. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you as a part of our globally extended family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global KS family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use, and links to the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. Please seek out an ambassador to get 80% off. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.